it's really about this question: is there more than we can see? My dad, my mom, my sisters, my brother, the little one in the center, that's me in 1963, a family of bakers in Wiesbaden, West Germany, close to Frankfurt, the airport, you know. My wife right next to the oven. That's me as a 3-year-old kid at home. We didn't have a television set, but 2,000 books on cupboards and shelves. Always, 50 years ago, I was reading books on David Livingstone from Scotland, as I learned the other day, he's from Scotland, and Paul White in Australia and Africa. And then, for health reasons, he left Africa and he started working as an author. He published, I don't know, 20 or 30 books, which I read, and I was very much impressed. I met Tina 46 years ago, my high school sweetheart, as you could say. She was 16, I was 17, and it didn't take long to find out that we both shared exactly the same vision. We wanted to go to medical school, to spend our entire life working as a doctor. Now, Tina wanted to become a pediatrician, and next to her, John Lennon wanted to become a surgeon. Well, people think he's dead, but he's alive very much so, John Lennon. Well, our training, we spent 2.5 years in Great Britain, 88 to 91, 2 years at Yale University in the United States, South Africa, the famous Baragwanath Hospital outside of Soweto, then finished up in Berlin. I worked for 2 years at the Universal Hospital. In 91, we took a long trip to South America as backpackers, mochileros, they say in Spanish. We wanted to see Machu Picchu, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now it reminds us of the Inca Empire. The Inca, well, this empire covered Peru, Ecuador, northern Chile, Ecuador. The Quechua people are the rightful descendants of the ancient Incas. They're about 10 million, perhaps more. In Peru, they live in poverty, most of them. That's a typical kitchen where they prepare their meals. They work very hard in the field. It's not worth it, hardly any money to make it. Many have no access to modern medical health care. Now, a lady with a big tumor on the sole of her foot. And when we left Peru in April of 91, 33 years ago, we said, well, let's come back in the future to build a modern hospital, just as nice as in England or Germany for these people. So the idea came up. 5 years we served at a mission hospital in Ecuador, close to Ambato. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with the map of South America. Tina working in outpatients. I was the only surgeon of the hospital that did some 2,000 cases, thoracotomies, gastrectomies, lots of C-sections, hysterectomies, prostatectomies. I was the only one that had to do it. Very interesting. But we never lost the vision to start a new mission hospital. In 2002, we sat down to write a project proposal, German, English, Spanish. We found 8 friends, so 10 of us, to establish a charity organization. And as a family, we moved to Peru, Curawasi, that's the name of the district in the south, in 2003. So 20 years plus, no? In September 2003. We're talking 2,600 meters, the mountains 5,500, up to 6,000 meters. We purchased outside of town a property, and we came up with the design work. We thought perhaps it would be nice to have 2 levels, 15 specialties, just to point things out to you, the wards and outpatients. And we have a lab, of course, operating theaters, ICU, labor and delivery, A&E, as you say in England, X-ray. We thought, hopefully, with a CT scanner, there was not a single hospital in the state of Apurimac, Peru got 24 states, with a CT scan. But Tina and I, we faced a serious problem. No money at all. As a family, in fact, we're the only white family in that district. We purchased this house. We paid $11,000, so about 9,000 pounds. We had to change the roof. We established a nice modern kitchen. We hired 10 workmen. They're called obreros, trying to improve things. It wasn't that easy, but at night we recovered on the mattresses. Dominic, Natalie, Florian, my wife, myself. That's how about 3 months passed. They celebrate in Curawasi every year in November 25, La Fiesta de la Santa Catalina. It's a religious Catholic holiday. And for the occasion 2003, these boys and girls had dressed up as doctors and nurses. I took the photo, obviously, in my house with the camera right here, nice camera. But I thought it would be so nice if these boys and girls could work at a hospital in the future as professionals. That's it. Right idea? But first, we have to do the hospital, I'm afraid. We need $4 million building, $6 million equipment, $10 million, 1,000 faithful supporters willing to move them with their children. They have to live in primitive, simple houses, to work truly hard for 3 or 5 or 10 years without getting a salary. Their problem, they're not interested in the salary. And this group. Well, and we returned to Europe in 2004 in the middle of an economic crisis. Unemployment rate above 10% in Germany, a lot higher in Italy, in France, and Spain. And here are Klaus and Tina in the middle of this crisis, people scared, a luxury hospital for the poor in the Andes. And Germans, I don't know whether you know Germans, we are very serious people. Please don't talk any nonsense to me. Ah. Well, we have given so far 3,300 presentations. In every spot is one city in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, Spain. I mean, on this spot right here, this stop is Berlin, 50 presentations. England, Ireland, up and down the motorway every year to the United States of America, Canada, Australia. We've shared our vision now in 27 countries around the world, talking to thousands of Christians and non-Christians, Protestant and Catholics. So 550,000 kilometers, well, that's about 350,000 miles on European, North American, Australian highways, motorways. We speak at evangelical churches, Catholic churches, Rotary Club, Lions Club, Kiwanis clubs, universities, schools in Skillen Island, at the Spring Harvest Festival years ago in England, in Melbourne, Australia, to hundreds of Australians, at a gym, and at the 4th World Congress of Pediatric Surgery. It was a special lecture of the Congress, and there were Hindus, Buddhists, agnostics, atheists from all around the world listening to a story of faith. The Sunday schools are busy raising money, the Boy Scouts, of course. Now, this sweet lady, the Christina Fleck, well, she at home in her kitchen preparing muesli, granola stuff. She's doing it now for 15 years. She raised 150,000 euros, that's 140,000 pounds, just her, to support Diocesian private people. Both of the past 20 years have organized 1,700 events. This was a Christmas ferry to support our ministry. More than 600 media reports, radio, television, the press, a very nice Christian article in Good News, a newspaper in England, Hospital of Prayer, but this is non-secular stuff. The Weekly Mail or Sunday Post in Northern Ireland, England, and Scotland, written by an atheist, if I remember correctly. That's how we started, 2004. We were always on the go, Tina and myself, typical workaholics. Well, the English are workaholics, so can we in Germany. But Tina wrote in 2004, in that year, over 1,000 handwritten letters. Every night, so 4 letters together. But I was really smart to marry her because she was hardworking, no? So I can do a bit less. Well, in 6 months, and we really tried hard, we got only 251 donations, 70 people in January 25 and then 40, 35. No, it's great to get a donation. But you can definitely not build a mission hall that would cost $10 million. And after 6 months of trying hard, the show was over. And right at this point, faith comes in. With the inner conviction God will bless this, we have to carry on 1,500 donations till the end of the year. We visited 250 countries around the world, almost all decided to support our ministry, a very nice Peruvian donation, Lima, all the lights, 800 lights for the hospital, $25,000 donation, the accessories for the bathrooms from Mexico, an oxygen generator from the United States of America, Roche, Switzerland, the lab equipment, the same equipment you have right here at your hospital in Sheffield, and Leeds, Siemens, for the first time ever, donated a CT scanner to a hospital in South America. I have to tell you the story. and knocked the door, Siemens, in Philips, the Dutch competition, for whole year, emails, phone calls, presentations. In December 2006, we got a phone call from a certain Dr. Feldhaus. He talked to my wife on the phone and said, we're actually considering the donation of a CT scanner. Wow, what a nice Christmas present. In February 2007, I visited the headquarters of Siemens Medical Solution. They're based in Erlangen, close to Nuremberg. And Dr. Feldhaus told me why. He said, well, I'm director of the communication department of Siemens Medical Solution. It was my first week in that capacity. And they showed me your letter with your request and said, well, please, Dr. Feldhaus, then this guy in Peru, or you say chap in England, sent this chap a negative response. But Dr. Feldhaus, he started reading my letter. It became clear to him that Christian is a faith ministry. I'd mentioned that. Nobody talks about faith in Germany, but I did. And he was removed because he's Catholic. He got the open Bible on his desk. So he talked to the CEO of Siemens Med Solution, Professor Reiner, the big boss, the president. Can we help? And this Professor Reiner, tough guy, German, he said, we never, ever help. Because if we have an exception to the rule today, tomorrow we get hundreds of letters from all around the world. This is nonsense. 2 weeks later, a German couple, doctors as we, they wanted to open or found a special health center in Thailand, Asia. Good friends of the president, Professor Reiner. Well, sure enough, he did help his friends. Dr. Feldhaus walked straight back and said, well, you told me the other day we never ever help. We're just sending a lot of money to your friends in Thailand. Let's look at this fly, looks great. So in Peru, let's have another exception to the rule. Siemens, for the first time ever, for the last time ever, donated a CT scan to a hospital in South America. It was published in the magazine Siemens World in many languages to 400,000 members of the companies on this planet. The Spanish version, CT, for the descendants of the ancient Incas. On the 24th of May, 2005, raised the sign of construction. The husband wants to glorify God, that it says on top, help the Quechua people, especially laying down the first stone. And we thought, God willing, we can open this place till the end of April, trimester 2007. But after 17 months of fundraising, Gina and I had raised that much of the 10 million. And we don't get any money from the government or Bill Gates, no credits or loans. We don't spend money we don't have. We always pray to God, asking him to help us pay the next bill. 3,000 people celebrating with us in my speech. I quoted Luke chapter 4. Jesus said 2,000 years ago, I'm here to give eyesight to the blind. I'm here to lead the captives free. And I said, that's why I'm here, exactly for this reason. Well, we're looking for a civil engineer, somebody waiting to supervise construction. Well, competent, of course, healthy. Third world experience, and willing to do the whole work for us completely free of charge. And we looked for an awful long time. I'm afraid I have to tell you tonight, we didn't find anybody. Came the 16th of February 2005. I'm in Wiesbaden, my hometown, in a small apartment. On the desk, 51 pages of small print. A design contract, Dios Cristiano, that's us. It means we trust in God, in Quechua. And the construction company, Constructec, we're talking $4 million without equipment. And next to me, a lawyer, an expert on international construction laws. And now together, we are reading 51 pages, all the paragraphs, but of course, interrupted by his explanations. And then he said, you know what, Dr. John, I'm also a member of a charity group. We are 25 people all over Germany. We support an orphanage in Sao Paulo, Brazil, street children. And one of us used to work as a civil engineer. And I don't know why, but I got so nervous. What is his name? Well, Udo Clemens, one of us of this group. You know? Do you happen to have his telephone number? Well, 2005, we're talking 19 years ago. He didn't look for his smartphone. There's a bag, there's a little booklet, and the telephone is right here. I say Stone Age. the number. Could I call him real quick? A minute? Yeah, go ahead. So I called Mr. Clemens, somebody I never met before in my life, and I said, typical German, straightforward, Mr. Clemens, we doctors want to build a house in Peru. I just heard about you 2 minutes ago. You're an engineer, I know. Could you run the show? A year, 2, whatever it takes. But we're not paying anything. Yeah, why? And they said, Dr. John, my wife and I, we live 1 hour north of Frankfurt. If you wish, you can see me tonight. 7 o'clock, we talk things over. So at night, my visit, I put up a screen, I tell the story. As I finish, his wife, Barbara, taught me something I will never forget. She said, Dr. we are Lutheran Christians. Only 3% of the Lutheran Christians go to church, Solomon, 3%, but we are committed Christians. And 3 days ago, we started praying to God for a special purpose in our life. And this morning, sitting in our kitchen, pouring our hearts, what is it, God? We are here to serve you. And we prayed, amen, within 5 minutes. You called us, somebody we never met before. Well, he came to Peru, Uri and his wife Barbara, on the 3rd of August 2005. He had over 10 years experience in running big projects in African countries, in Asian countries. He built part of the football stadium in Riyadh, a very nice football stadium. You can see it on the internet. Belongs to some Raven King. Udo Clemens built the hospital, 2.5 years. Our eye and dental clinic, 1 year. House for the kids club, 1 year. The school, 2.5 years. As we speak now, he's in Peru working with us. He has been with us over 10 years, working 8 hours daily. And I kept my promise. I'm almost an English gentleman. We didn't pay him a penny, as I promised. You always have to honor your commitment. Well, the platform, it took us 4 months to remove 350,000 cubic meters of soil at the first foundation, the laundry of the hospital. No guaranteed budget. We always panic. Will the money come in? We have to transfer the construction company at the end of the month. 22nd of 2006, 3 people were up at night. Where you're from? Well, we're from the Government Institute of Culture. It's a big project. But you don't have our license. But the pottery, the Incas, ruins, who knows what. What you're doing is illegal. Here comes the letter. What does it say? It's over, folks, no more. A fine, $700,000 American dollars. The end of it. Well, we panic. And what do we Christians do when we panic? He knows.
You pray?
Very good. That's why he's in that position for praying. He knows the answer. And what else do Christians do when they panic? They call the German ambassador. Mr. Ambassador, we're in deep trouble. Could you help us have a meeting with the Peru president, Alan Garcia, just elected, or his wife, Pilar Norris, the first lady? And, well, he was not very kind. He said, nonsense, whoa, impossible. But 8 days later, we meet Pilar Norris, the first lady of Peru. She's from Argentina, actually. Melton Arce was twice the vice minister of health. He had arranged it, belonged to the same party. And ever since the 4th of July, 2006, Pilar Norris is our godmother. We got this in writing, and right away we could throw the document we had received from the Government Institute of Culture into the bin. No, we want to mess with the president, neither with his wife, the first lady of Peru. The construction advancing. A few months later, the outdoor theater, amphitheater, November 2005, 30 pastors, each man on the photo said, pastor of a church. Well, working truly hard as role models, and then of the following 4 months, 750 people joined in, working for free, 600 evangelical Christians, and 150 Catholics as well. November 2005. I had a meeting with 3 directors of Telefónica, which is a big Spanish company. It's a giant, really. In most Latin American countries, we're talking telecommunication. And these 2 guys actually came from Madrid. They were visiting Lima. And the German ambassador, which I just hardly criticized, he is Dr. Kaiser. He had arranged for the meeting so Klaus John can give his little speech. And I asked for a satellite dish, telephone, internet, because 19 years ago, in Croatia, the mountains, We had no cell phones and no internet. Well, they said, Dr. John, sounds interesting, this project, but where on earth is Curavasi located? We never heard this word before. Let's look at the map of Peru. 1,000 kilometers, 700 miles down south in the mountains. It's a great project. We have to think about it. We will let you know. 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, over the past 20 years, I've been traveling around the world. And in fact, I'm away from Peru 6 months every year. Working at the hospital, my wife, and then Europe and back, and the States, Australia, Paraguay, Mexico. I haven't seen my wife because of these trips. 8 years, if we sum it up. 8 years, at least. And my wife Tina says, perhaps that's the reason marriage is so successful. Well, I don't know, it's perhaps English sense of humor, I don't know. I returned back to Peru after a 4-week trip through European countries, arrived at midnight of the 19th of December. I walked through customs, I'm very tired, and in customs they confiscated my projector, the very equipment I'd used to raise millions of dollars. And they told me, well, you didn't fill out the customs declaration form, you didn't sign, you're a smuggler, a naughty boy. They took it away. Bad news. Another bad news, a phone call from Telephonic on the 7th of February 2006, and a sweet lady, the secretary she told me about, Dr. John, the directors, yes, they met and they talked about it. Unfortunately, Telefonica can't help you. No satellite. And then she said, but all the best for the future. I was so disappointed, so shattered. I spent 90 minutes with 3 directors. They're making millions, Telefonica, millions. Help, nothing. 3 days later, I entered this building in downtown Lima at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Inside a company, they sell projectors, and there's some technicians sitting there, fixing broken down equipment, and 3 models for sale. I hook up my laptop, projector 1, 2, 3. I run the whole presentation, checking the different models. I want to buy one. And now all the technicians, Peru, sitting here, they listen. What is this gringo telling us with a strange German accent? I'm through with my last photo. A man walks up in from the corner behind, and he's come over. He asked me, is it true that Telefonica does not want to help you with this satellite? It was part of my presentation with the directors of Telefonica. And I said, no, 3 days ago, a definitive negative response. Well, this is my business card. My name is Dante Pasalappa. I happen to be the president of the IMSAT company, a competitor to Telefonica, who has exactly the same equipment. And the next time you come to Lima, please give the same presentation to my board of directors. That's what I did in the south of Lima, IMSAT. Dante Pasalappa signed a form. We got a satellite dish, big, 2 meters wide. Telephone, internet, hardware, software used for free, has been running now 2006. We're talking 18 years, still in use, has become a $400,000 American dollars, $400,000. The first company in Peru that decided to help us, now there are 50 more. Number one, how to explain it? In a city of 8 million people, perhaps 10, who knows? 3 days after the negative response by Telefonica, I happened to meet the president of a competing company in an electronic shop downtown. What is he doing behind the corner? Why is he there? Strange. The owner of the shop happens to be his cousin. It's a family visit. Suddenly, many photos on the screen, a very strange, rapid German accent, deeply moved. So far, 400,000 American dollars. It's getting difficult to explain this based on mathematical probabilities, even for Richard Dawkins, I think. They want to get it public in the mass media. They paid flight tickets, 2 people, a photographer, Doris Bailey, at the time a very famous Peruvian journalist. She used to work for the Somos magazine, looked like Newsweek or Time magazine in the United States. Here she is. It's a ruin, not much to show, but she's moved, isn't she? 3 patients, Somos, Angel of the Andes, Udo Clemens, my wife, myself, and hundreds of thousands learned about a most interesting project. A week later came a truck, a donation of 600 bags of cement worth $5,000, and I asked the driver, please tell me, who's behind that most generous donation? They said, well, his name is Guido de Castillo. He's got gold mines, copper mines. He saw the article in Somos. He wants to help you with cement. I got on the phone. He had his office in Lima, of course. Senor Castillo, gracias. Thank you so much for the cement. Could I visit in Lima to show a little PowerPoint? Venga más, come along. De Castillo now in Lima. My laptop, the story, it said, Senor Castillo, we are just about to build the roof of the hospital. We need 55 tons of steel. Mark away $70,000. What do you think? No response. But 4 days later, email, Klaus, I will help you. I will send 3 trucks with all the steel you need. Why did he help us? He's not a church-going person. I don't know. But I do know that 6 months previously, son Andres, at the age of 21, jumped out of the airplane. The parachute didn't open. He plummeted to death. His father, De Castillo, till he died 4 years ago, did support with $180,000, but he was not religious at all. He made contact with the media. One article he published here in the magazine Pro Activo. It got only 5,000 readers, directors of mining companies. It's all about mining. 5,000 is not a lot in a city of 8 million people, but one copy ended up, I don't know how, on the desk of Renato Canales, the director of the leading news channel, TV channel 2, from 10 to 11, nationwide news for all of Peru. Invited me over, saw the presentation, 5 television reports, at TV channel 2 on the hospital El Hospital de la Fe, the hospital built on faith. We had in Peru so far 63 television reports. This was TV channel 5, Sunday night, 14 minutes. Miracle up in the mountains of 4 million TV spectators. The big day, 31st of August 2007. The schools are marching. I said, only God can do a lot with very little, everything with nothing. All the glory to God. The first lady of Peru, Pilar Nora Garcia, where she cut a red ribbon, a big cake 2 meters wide, the hospital has a cake. Barbara, Udo's wife, prepared 23 cakes till 3 o'clock in the morning. Barbara got a good heart. She could be English, actually. She thought everyone that shows up at the party has to, well, get a decent slice of cake. Barbara got a problem. She's very poor in mathematics, 4,500 people in the outdoor theater, 9 television teams, and they showed these documentaries in many Latin American countries talking about the hospital of faith. The leading newspapers, El Comercio, the hospital of faith, has opened its doors. Peru is big, 4 times bigger than the UK, got 24 states. Our patients come from all the 24 states. They travel 10, 20, 30 hours, queuing sometimes 500 meters. The waiting area packed full in the morning. And here on the screen, we show the most successful movie of all times, Gone with the Wind. Well, I don't know, Titanic, perhaps? The Jesus film, available in almost 2,000 languages, Bill Bright, what the author, Campus Crusade. Well, we shot in the morning in Spanish, the afternoon in Quechua, the language of the Incas. Patient 500,000 walked in June last year. That's my wife right next to the patient. You can see the poor couple from the jungle of Peru. Well, these are the data till the 25th of April. They provide me every 2 months with new data. I do know we are very close to 540,000 patient visits, and now they've come from all the 24 states. Lima, for instance, 14,000 have traveled by bus 20 hours down south. They were seen by a doctor, and then 20 hours back to Lima. So 40 hours on a bus to be seen by missionary doctors at our hospitals. Well, as the only hospital in South America, we start every morning with a church service, Monday to Friday. We have celebrated so far over 4,000 church service, the message of repentance, forgiveness, the cross of Christ, the empty tomb. Our hospital pastor, Marco Cunha, has been with us for 9 years. He used to live in the streets of Abancay, which is the capital of our state, as a drug addict, always looking for thin paper to wear his joints, marijuana. And we have this big book with 1,000 thin pages, the ideal solution to wear 1,000 joints. Taking out 5 pages. How nice. He started reading the first page. It was the Bible. Well, he told us the story many times. He said, I was sitting outside of Abancay. The weeks passed. This book talked to me. Totally transformed man. He went to Lima, studied theology, and for 9 years has been our pastor. My wife is a pediatrician. I do gastroscopies now and colonoscopies with a sweet English medical student from Lancaster, Ruth Brandt. She fell in love with a German missionary. They got married. Now she's a pediatrician in Germany. So we always have to arrange these things, of course, but we can't guarantee it. So if you come and you're single, we'll see what we can do for you. John Lanting, Dutch, he has been with us 13 years. He's done over 100,000 ultrasound exams. We've got 6 operating theaters, the best technology you can imagine. Most of it is brand new. Our missionary surgeon from Switzerland, Lucas Steffen, fixing a broken tibia. Famous pediatrician from Sheffield, Ollie, another pediatrician, Simon from Germany, and so his wife working in physiotherapy. Now, car accidents. If you can't see blood, you have to close your eyes. I'm warning you. And I'm cut through with electric power. So, well, what you do, you cut the rest, you control the bleeding, come back in 3 or 4 months, we see whether we can give you a prosthetic. Our surgeons operated 6 hours, fixing arteries, veins, nerves, muscle, bones, but the arm, he got sensation in his skin, strength in his muscle. It's a tremendous result. He's a carpenter, by the way. His dominant hand, he paid that much of the bill. He comes a 50-year-old Quechua lady, mother of 8 children. She's working in the fields, planting beans and corn. And he got inside a time bomb, an abdominal aortic aneurysm, 11 centimeter. Well, if it ruptures, some of them are doctors, she got 2 minutes left to say goodbye to her husband and her children. She was operating one of our operating theaters by our missionary vascular surgeon, Thomas Timon, that the aneurysm, quite prominent, in ICU, heading home, back to 8 children, and back to her work in the field. Now, it's a very modern hospital. You have to visit us to see with your own eyes, but also believe in the power of prayer. A 12-year-old buried under stone and sand, according to witness, he couldn't breathe for 20 minutes. Well, you all know that after 3 months, the first brain cell died. Well, they took the 12-year-old to the hospital. All the evidence of brain death, nothing appeared. The heart is still beating on the ventilators. The day passed, no progress. And the question comes up, when are we going to switch off the ventilator so that his parents can burn on the Campo Santo graveyard? In walks Clara Hurtado, one of our Peru colleagues, and she knelt down and she prayed aloud. God, if this kid, without any help, will be saved, walking out fine, I will organize his next birthday party. I'm 63, I've in my life I've listened to thousands of prayers, Methodists, Baptists, Mennonites, Catholics, Orthodox. I've never heard anything like this. A few days later, Tina, my wife, is standing next to the patient bed. He wakes up, and his first word, being a 12-year-old, gracia, thank you. That happened in 2018, 5 years ago. He's totally fine, neurologically fine. This was his next birthday party, turning 13, and Gladys paying Coca-Cola, Fanta, cakes, and chocolate, as she had promised, on her knees, right next to the patient's bedside. So watch out what you pray, and then you will have to pay the bill. Be very careful. Well, our orthopedic workshop, a 4-year-old born without a left lower leg, his face tells the story of his life. He got a prosthetic made, he learned the use of it, his face afterwards very, very much different. They've come from all the 24 states of Peru, Lima as well, to our orthopedic workshop, and they got prosthetics made at our hospital. A 47-year-old, 5 teeth left in her mouth. The hundreds of thousands grew in the mountains where it looks very similar. Well, she built a dental hospital, an eye clinic, right here in this building. We've attended 85,000 patients so far. Maneluco, dentist from Switzerland, and we met at a McDonald's place close to the Swiss border in the city of Freiburg, right next to the railway station. We all know that you always take the most important decisions in life at a McDonald's restaurant, usually. Sometimes Starbucks, I believe in it. At the age of 18, struggling with lymphoma, stage 4, 6 months chemotherapy. And Marlene said, Klaus, I'm here, I'm alive. I want to serve at the dental clinic of DSP's dental clinic for 2 years free of charge. This is my way to say thank you to God. CAT scan, we actually have 2. It does crowns out of ceramic blocks, imperfections, a 20-minute process. Here, patient prior and after her treatment, a 7-year-old from Puno. Well, she came on several occasions with her parents. It's a 10-hour ride by bus, lining up, queuing outside. She couldn't make it in. Every day more patients come than we can attend. But eventually, in December 21, she made it in. They operated both eyes. Christmas 21, the first time in her life that she could see her mom's and dad's faces with clarity. In November 2005, my wife Tina and Linda Maxwell, Australian missionary, they founded the first kids club. Our daughter Natalie, right there, crafts, Bible stories, a prayer sport, the Boy Scouts. Wow, that's interesting. 40 sheep in the street, not enough room inside. In 2012, we opened a building for the kids club. Udo Clemens, of course, built it. And Monday to Friday, according to age group, thousands, I can only take a guess, between 5,000 and 10,000 different children have been exposed to the gospel and they felt loved and appreciated. The hospital right there purchased another property to build a school for 600 boys and girls under construction right here. The Diocesan school, but also the kids, Ollie and so the kids too. I can do everything through Jesus Christ, who gives me the strength, quoting Paul, on the wall, experiments in science, music lessons, classes for Quechua children, a gym with an elastic floor, as you have here in Sheffield, or Leeds, or Manchester. Here comes the new president, Ollanta, a left-wing radical, type like Hugo Chavez, Venezuela. He just landed in his helicopter. He wants to see the hospital. We were running through the hospital, running back to the helicopter, and the president asked me, what do you want? And I said, a meeting with you and your wife at the palace. That's fine. 5 days later, we met at the palace. My wife, Tina, the first lady, Nadine, our gynecologist. He was with us 15 years as a missionary gynecologist. This presentation. And they said, Mr. President, we are highly convinced that the real architect of our hospital is Jesus Christ. A frozen silence, not a single word. But I was invited by the Minister of Health, the Vice Minister of Health. They said, President Ollanta wants to copy this hospital in other states, departmental. And I said, forget about it. It's impossible. You've got money, but you haven't got faith in action. The missionaries arrived at the airport with their babies in suitcases to serve for 3, 5, or 10 years without being paid, as an expression of their faith in Jesus Christ. As we speak, we have 56 long-term missionaries serving at the hospital, at the school, media center, from many countries around the world. And actually, the names are right here. We had so far over 220 long-term missions, 3 years, 5 years, up to 15 years, the gynecologists from these countries serving with us. But they're all established support groups. That's what missionaries do. And they all lost so much money because donations never match the service they previously earned in their home countries. What is the power that can overcome human selfishness? Well, we are Christians, we might say, well, we've been called by God. But what does it mean to be called by God? An example, 6th of March 2018, I'm in the ward, talking to David Brady, he was our missionary urologist. He was with us on a 10-year term. He did over 1,000 prostatectomy, among other things. He's Austrian Jewish. And I asked him, David, till when are you going to stay with us? Well, he said, what? No, June 2020. Then our oldest daughter, Anna, is supposed to do a secondary schooling in Bamberg, in a city in the south of Germany. Wow. They have to find a replacement urgently. And I was reminded that 11 months previously, after one of our presentations in the south of Germany, I talked to a young urologist, briefly, 10 minutes. So I rushed into my office, I checked my computer box, there's his email address. At lunchtime, this message, dear Mr. Sayer, could you provide me with your telephone number? I would like to call you. Typical German, keep it brief. Keep it brief. Well, there's a 7-hour time difference. So Western Europe, 7 hours ahead. My message got to the laptop computer at, 7:18. 19 hours previously, his wife Lena gave birth to their 5th child, Kreisar, labor delivery, B5, at the city of Mosbach. Okay, at midnight, everything's fine, everything's great. And 1:30, Benjamin is driving up the hill, there's a cross on top. And he wants to give thanks to God, kneeling down at 1:30 in the morning. It's chilly in March at 1:30. Well, he's done actually the same thing after the first 4 deliveries as well, routine plan. So kneeling down at 1:30, God, thank you so much. My wife is fine. And suddenly he's praying things he didn't intend to say. God, the kids we have, 5. But what is your purpose for our family now? What's happening here? I didn't drive up the hill at 1:30 to pray anything. No. Strange, isn't it? Supernatural. Can't explain it. In the morning, Lena's discharged from the city hospital, at this hospital, in the morning with a newborn. Benjamin got a million things to do, but at 7:30 at night, this conversation, Lena, how are you? Fine. How's the baby? Fine. Lena, last night at 1:30, I drove up the hill to pray. And suddenly, I prayed things I didn't want to say. I said, in a detailed way, what is the purpose? What do you want us to do now? I don't know what it means. And she said, do you know that 10 minutes ago came this email from Dr. Klaus John, who spoke at our City Hall 11 months. He paused it and asked, when are we going to leave Germany? 19 hours after giving birth to a 5th child, with all the discharge and pain still, they sold the house, a very nice house with a pool. They donated the money to Mission Society. We got 100,000 euros from that. They've been with us now for 3.5 years. He was born in Midna, that's Lena, physiotherapy, and our urologist, Benjamin Sayer. In Germany, there are quite a number of secular TV channels. Fox, very, very popular. It's secular stuff, superficial stuff, also on air in Switzerland, Austria, Germany. 52 minutes. Goodbye, Germany, the life of a young family. Urologist praying on his knees at 1:30 in front of the cross. Millions of German atheists and agnostic have seen this documentary. Was on air twice, as a matter of fact. Hundreds of patients inside, outside, the doors are closed. We are full. The people are angry. They traveled so far for nothing. They were just about to storm the hospital of violent force. And I'm saying on the table here, keep calm, folks. Let's find a solution. There is none, because every day more patients come that we can attend. And then I'm shouting, why didn't you tell us on the radio that you have more coupons, tickets? Well, radio, television, that's a good idea. Healthcare, education, prevention, family and faith. It was built right next to the Mission Hospital. Here comes Pilar Norris, a third visit, my wife Tina, the mayor of the city of Kuravasi, 3 levels, 2 television studios, 2 radio studios. My wife talked on a healthcare subject. In the south, 5 states of Peru, we've got 12 FM towers high up on the mountain tops. 50% of people living here can tune in 24 hours. The jungle, Puerto Maldonado, we reach out to 250,000 Peruvians. since the 1st of July 2018. 2 days later, in the early morning, hours 5:49 to be precise, a young man called in, 35, a watchman, and he said, "I'm devastated. My wife took off with another guy. I was just about to shoot myself a bullet into the head. But there was a radar plane. And they said, God is there. There's hope." I didn't pull the trigger. Well, we've been working on our tower at least 6 months. It takes some almost a year to get ready, everything ready. We're switching on the transmitters, saving a young man's life in the middle of a personal crisis. Sunday, 22nd of March 2020, here comes the government of the state of Peru with 4 healthcare directors. They want to see the hospital. My wife Tina, our vascular surgeons, leading them through our hospital. You've got 10 ICU beds and brand new ventilators and oxygen generator as the only hospital in the state of Peru. We can send our COVID-19 patients to your place. Well, and about the payment, let's talk. Well, we negotiated, we signed a treaty, my wife and myself, that the government of the state. We invested a lot of money, but unfortunately, the government of Apurímac didn't comply with the promises, nothing. And now something happened that's quite dangerous. One of the 2 congressmen of the state of Apurímac in the parliament, Congreso in Lima, he's a traumatologist. Well, he thinks we are his competition. He introduced a law, and the law said that in the pandemic, the government can control private hospitals. The first step to full-blown nationalization. Over the past 100 years, corrupt governments have nationalized hundreds of mission hospitals around the world. So we, pronunciamiento, they say, we talk to the people, Facebook, YouTube, radio, television, Yospian Pelico, we endanger a message to all Peruvians. Within a few days, 1.6 million visit our social site. There are thousands of commentaries. We stand with Yospiana, put all the corrupt politicians into the prison. That this support, this public support, saved our hospital. Outdoor theater, we had 4 testing stations. We diagnosed 2,300 patients with COVID-19. On the lower level, we kept going as usual. On the upper level, it was only COVID, a transfer from the city of Abancay. This is my wife, Tina, heading to the COVID ICU. Looks very much like the one you had here in Sheffield or in Leeds or in Manchester. Very severe case. Sepsis, cardiac arrest, pulmonary embolus. 5 weeks later, he was discharged home. So we had 124 serious COVID patients. 94 survived. I guess numbers comparable to your experience in Sheffield or Manchester or Leeds. 1,166 people, Christians, non-Christians, Catholic, Protestant, support our ministry on a monthly basis. Private people have donated $35 million, companies 10 million. So we reached 45 million American dollars. In none of my public presentations I asked for money. We send out 5 newsletters per year. We don't ask for money either. Our 15th anniversary, 31st of August 2022, in the presence of Nicola Luca, the most popular television presenter, on air. Everybody loves him, likes him. He's atheist. The next day on his television show, he said, yes, I went to the state of Peru to celebrate with this hospital, the Hospiciana. And they said, they have a power that has overcome human selfishness. The Hospiciana is Kids Club, 1,000, the hospital, 500,000, the school, right now, 575 pupils, radio minister in the south, and Woodstock. Wow, the Rolling Stones, you remember Woodstock in the 70s. Thousands of young people living in tents, workshops, and well, that was supposed to be the first one in 2023. And while we are planning this big event, a 5-day event, I was reminded of Karina. Karina was part of our team till 2020, a very capable, proven lady. And I called her on the 5th of October, Karina, where are you? In Lima. What are you doing? Working for the government. Karina, we need you here in Kuruvasi. Youth festivals with thousands of young people. She's Christian, always praying about her religion, and always reading her Bible. And that very day, she was reading Psalm 80. Well, the Bible's available in 50 different, well, at least 15 different translations in Spanish, like it is in English, well, 15 perhaps. And then she was reading Psalm 80, NKV Nueva Traducción Viviente, New Living Bible, perhaps. And the next day, reading Psalm 81, no? 80, 81. What does it say? Let's organize a big festival. And the only Spanish translation they use in Psalm 81, this phrase, let's organize a festival. Well, she quit her job, she resigned, she moved to Kuruvasi. We're paying her a lot less than the government before. Kuruvasi, the hospital, amphitheater, space for 4,000 people, the buses circulating, camping 1 to 3, our school for the workshops, the stadium, cinema, a sport ground. They arrived from 14 states and other countries as well. Right here, camping 1 to 3, big tents, enough room for close to 3,000 young people. I went to Belgium. The European market leader is World of Tents. It's a Belgian company. And all the great, authentic outdoors belongs to World of Tents. And they gave this presentation. And they asked people, folks said, do you believe in God? And when your man across the table said, God, I've never ever thought of God in my life. But they donated brand new tents worth €500,000. So 5-day event, every night, 2 Christian bands. This is Rojo from Mexico, like AC/DC, but a lot better. And before we had the second concert night, 2 of us shared our faith. They call it Testimonio. This is a group from Bogota, Generación 12, Passion and Enthusiasm. This year, we organized another event, 5-day, with 10 bands from 10 different countries, 4,000 people inside the amphitheater, 412,000 streaming, and we went out from 7 to 11 o'clock through 12 FM towers, so 500,000 Peruvians, 500,000 participated in our Christian youth event. 800 young people prayed with pastors and missionaries. Many tears were shed. Well, John Lennox, you know John Lennox, mathematician, Oxford. He wrote, it's the story of Justiniana Hospital. It's a remarkable example of what happens when people take God seriously. And Stephen Nolan, BBC 5, he's atheist. I looked it up, he's atheist. He said after a 20-minute interview, Justiniana story of medicine, money, miracle. Television, Deutsche Welle, 25 minutes in English, all around the globe, in Spanish, in South America, in German, in Arabic, Northern Africa, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, on the Hospital of Hope, where we even pray before we operate on our patient. There are the books out in 7 different languages. You can take the books for donation, even by Youth with a Mission, a very, very nice book. Let's finish off. 16th of December 2008, I had a meeting with the regional government. We're heading home, crossing the mountain range, the mountains, 4,000 meters up. I'm behind my steering wheel. Next to me, our urologist, Dr. David Brady. It's dark, it's rainy, and now fog is coming. We couldn't see. And I had, the truck and trailer closing in, the crash really badly, but I did survive with a broken clavicle on the left and blood in my face on the left. And we are leaving the car, David and myself, and we realized that in the middle of the fog, the wheels of my car stopped on the edge of the cliff. So God saved our life in a dramatic way. David got 3 kids, I've got 3 kids. Every day, that's the truth, can be the last day of my life, the last day of your life. My mom died 2010, my father died 2011. That's my father's coffin, City Cemetery, Wiesbaden. On the left, 10 meters, My cousin Sabine, she was 47. She went to the eye doctor, routine stuff, glasses, whatever. And they diagnosed a melanoma in her eye. It was removed. Everything's great. And then she had pulmonary, liver, brain metastases. She passed away quickly. I've been a doctor now for 35 years. And I've seen so many patients dying in front of me, even on the operating table, and I was a surgeon. And I wondered, is there any hope after death? I didn't want to believe in God. I wanted to see God, which is very different. And Paul has written 2,000 years ago, this is all I want. I want to experience the power of his resurrection. I want to know Christ. So I'm not talking blind faith, wishful thinking, philosophy. It's a real life experience and evidence piled up to the sky, hoping to raise from death to life. And this story, as I just told you in 45 minutes, of course, has become for us, for the Niels, for my wife, myself, a faith journey with God in the 21st century, a story yet communicated on 5 continents to 100 million people. Hamburger Abendblatt, it's a secular journal in the north of Germany, the doctor connected to God. And I said, well, yeah, that's true. But everybody can have this connection to God. It comes down, trust the one who died on the cross for sins, leaving his tomb 3 days later. The most important day in world history, the basis of the Hospiciana ministry, and the only hope I know. The mission hospital, the Hospiciana, Bettina, for me, a vision to the barriers. It is a great passion of thousands of Protestant Catholics who support our ministry, evident that God is real, no wishful thinking. He can listen to our prayers, he can see our hidden tears and hope. To hundreds of thousands poor people come up north south, the capital, traveling up to 30 hours, queuing up, sometimes 500 meters, paying for solace £1 to be seen by our doctors, and they all hear the good news of Jesus Christ. What could we tell about this ministry? God has become visible. That's me. As a 5-year-old, we used to have lunch together. Then my father had to take off to sell bread and rolls in the suburb of Wiesbaden. And I was clinging to my father's leg. Daddy, play with me, stay here. I have to work, I have to. What do I do now? I'm 63. I'm clinging to the leg of Jesus Christ. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Klaus.